Ofa hii ya msimu wa 88 pia inahusisha vipindi vya dakika 5 na 10 kwenye TV na Brand Talk kwenye radio. Kwa maelezo zaidi, wasiliana na idara ya masoko kwa simu namba 0658777144 au 0676777147. Changamkia ofa hii, kwani mwisho wake ni tarehe 15 mwezi wa 8 2021. Vigezo na masharti kuzingatiwa.
Are you ready for some great news? I'm Christine Mundwa.
And I am Eddie Micah Jr. with the brand new DW News Africa.
The show that tackles the issues shaping the continent.
Now with more time to offer an in-depth look at all the trends that matter to you.
What's making the headlines and what's behind them?
We're on the streets to give you in-depth reports and insights.
DW News Africa.
In Capital News tonight, TPDC directed to start construction of the Uganda-Tanga oil pipeline project. Dar es Salaam Ports receives a vessel from Japan with more than 3,700 cows. And in sports, SIMBA Sports Club to hold their pre-season camp in Morocco. Hello and good evening. This is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Nasma Mwambe. Let's kickstart with the national news. The Minister of Energy, Dr. Medad Kalemani, has directed the Director General of Tanzania Petroleum Development Corporation, TPDC, to start construction of the oil pipeline from Hoima in Uganda to Tanga region, as all procedures have been completed, and to make sure compensation commences for residents who have been affected so that they can move to pave way for the project. He gave the directive when speaking with investors of the project in Chato District, Geita region.
I'm calling on ECOP and TPDC to begin construction exercise immediately. You should start with construction of roads heading to camps, lay down water infrastructures. People who have paved way for the project must be compensated immediately. So far, in 7 camps, residents have already been compensated, and the exercise is still ongoing. This pipeline was to pass through Kenya, heading to the port, but through this government and this minister has made everything possible for the pipeline to pass through Tanzania.
Minister Dr. Kalemani also issued a 1-week deadline to the Director General of Energy and Water Utilities Regulatory Authority, EWURA, to ensure domestic gas prices are reduced following complaints from consumers.
Increase in prices of gas cylinders from 48 to 51 shillings, I do not agree with that, asked the minister in charge. EWURA, make sure that gas cylinders prices go down. EWURA, together with Commissioner of Oil and Gas, I give you 14 days to make the changes.
Tanzania Ports Authority has, for the first time, received a vessel Mitsui Line, which has come directly from Japan, transporting a cargo of 3,743 cars, whereby 65% of them are on transit to neighboring countries.
Kitu ambacho hakijawahi kutokea toka hii bandari imejengwa. magari 3743 ndani ya meli moja. Mara ya mwisho kabisa rekodi kubwa ambayo tunayo ni magari 2600. Kwa hiyo wenyewe mnaojua hesabu mnaona magari mangapi yameongezeka? Karibu 1100 ngapi? 1143. Kwa hiyo ni rekodi ambayo haijawahi kufikiwa, na bahati nzuri sio kwa bandari ya Dar es Salaam tu, haijawahi kufikiwa na bandari yoyote ya ukanda huu wa Afrika Mashariki na Kati.
There is no waiting for vessels outside since the operation of this berth. So we commend highly for Bwana Hamisi and his team for achieving this fantastic milestone in Port of Dar es Salaam.
What has impressed you most in this time when you come here in this port?
It's the preparedness to receive such a big ship, at the same time managing the housekeeping, because we were also concerned about the number, whether it is manageable, but surprisingly they have done an excellent job and we are quite pleased with this. This is encouraging for shipping lines like MOL to bring in more volumes and keep the commitment for our neighbors.
A week after the national launch of the corona vaccine campaign, youth in Dar es Salaam who have not been included in the priority groups to receive the vaccine have started to turn up at various designated centers to get inoculated, claiming they need vaccination certificates to be able to travel out of the country.
Changamoto ya zoezi hili ina changamoto sehemu moja ambayo tumeona ni kubwa.
The main challenge is that the government gave out priority groups that needs to be vaccinated in this first phase. But many youth are coming to stations demanding for vaccines. Because for travelers, some airlines need their passengers to have vaccine certificates. What I'm trying to say is the non-prioritized group are the ones showing up. Thus, we're waiting for directives on how we're going to help them.
Watu wana respond, tunashukuru. Mheshimiwa Rais utikio wake.
We are happy that people are responding well because it is a global crisis. I'm calling on people to come forward for the vaccines. At Amana Hospital, we have enough vaccines. They should not hesitate.
Na tutuchanje za kutosha waje kuchanja.
Meanwhile, a survey at various commuter bus stands has shown that there is still congestion of passengers, many of them without face masks, with conductors saying the level seat guideline is difficult to implement. We are fighting it, but as Tanzanians, we are used to it. We are not afraid. We thank God for protecting us. I have my mask here, but I will not wear it until I arrive at the offices. But not here on the Daladala. We Tanzanians have faith and we are fighting it. You know, even without COVID-19, we will just die. So we are very dependent on prayers. When I wear a mask, I lose my breath. So here I am, free and absolutely peaceful.
Mimi niendelee kuwasihi. Afya yao ni mtaji wao.
My emphasis is that health is an asset. The more they protect themselves, the more they give themselves better chances of living. In public transport, people should wear face masks in order to protect one another.
Ya virusi vya corona ni njia ya kujikinga na maambukizi ambayo imefanywa tafiti, njia ambayo ni sahihi.
The 10th and 11th witness in the armed robbery case against the former District Commissioner of High, Lengai Sabaya, and 2 co-accused have continued to testify in ARUSHA's resident magistrate court. More on the report.
Giving evidence in the court, the 10th witness, a doctor from Mount Meru Referral Hospital, Ngiana Mtui, said that on the 10th of February, Bakari Msangi, who is the 6th witness in the case, and his companions went to the hospital claiming he was in great pain. He said after receiving the PF3 form and questioning him on the cause of injuries, they started to give him first aid treatment. The witness was then questioned by the defense why the PF3 form on various days was similar and why the one that was filled on the 10th of February was missing, to which the doctor responded that the forms are put in a special box and taken by the police. The court then called the 11th witness, Constable James, to testify. Constable James said that on the 12th of February at 5 p.m., he was among police officers who went to investigate the incident at Mohammed Saad's store, where he met the shopkeeper Numan Dassini. He said when they entered the shop, they requested to preview the CCTV camera and was told by Numan that the cameras were not in the correct positions, after which he questioned other witnesses who had been present in the shop. In the case, the state is being represented by 3 advocates, while the defense is being represented by 6 advocates led by Advocate Msomi Duncan Ola.
Tanzania has signed an agreement to establish the African Medicine Agency, becoming the 22nd country to sign the agreement among member countries of the African Union. Speaking at the signing of the agreement in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and East African Cooperation, Ambassador Liberata Mulamula, said the agreement aims to strengthen efforts to fight against fake medicines in Africa.
Narudi nyumbani kuanza ule mchakato.
We're going home to begin the processes for this contract to be passed. So far, 22 countries have signed the contract. We shall present this agenda to the Parliament for them to come up with the final answer. Following the pandemic, there are so many medicines that have been produced globally. Through this contract, we shall be able to control importation of medicines.
AMA is very important to our country, especially to the harmonization of regulatory policies on our continent, in order to ensure that the African citizens have access to safe, quality, and efficacious medicines and medical products. If anything, the current pandemic has reinforced the need for the continent to have an agency like this one, which is working in tandem with the African CDC, and these two will constitute a very strong architecture in the health sector to help all member states to collectively address the continental health challenges.
Tanzania Rural Roads Agency, TARURA in Dar es Salaam, has entered into an agreement with contractors to start construction and the rehabilitation of roads in the region's councils at the cost of 14 billion shillings.
Vizuri viongozi wa dini, kila viongozi wa dini wapya wanapopatikana.
I urge you to provide awareness to our people on the importance of taking death certificates because they are used in several administration work.
Nafasi hii kuita makundi mbalimbali.
First, people should understand RITA's work, know their rights that RITA is supposed to give them. From these groups, we shall be able to evaluate ourselves so that we can improve services provided.
Tathmini, kutazama katika yale tunayafanya, kuna wapi ambapo labda hatufanyi vizuri.
And that is the end of the national news. International news comes next after the break.
In-depth look at all the trends that matter to you.
What's making the headlines and what's behind them?
We're on the streets to give you in-depth reports and insights.
DW News Africa.
Welcome back, and now in international news. The Civil Defense Authority in Algeria has said at least 7 people were killed and 2 seriously injured as forest fires spread in the North African country. More on the report.
At least 19 fires broke out in the 14 provinces across the country. In Greece, firefighters battled flames for days with thousands of people being forced to evacuate. The fires, which began last week, were triggered by the country's worst heat wave in more than 30 years. Rain brought relief to some parts of Turkey as more than 5,000 firefighters fought blazes for the 11th day in a row.
Activists in Uganda have called on the government to reopen schools and houses of worships as from September, claiming that closing of schools was undermining the education development of young people in the country, as well as contributing to the increase of child pregnancies and marriages. Continuing closure of school is a loss of a whole generation. No sane nation can hold students at home all this time. We must prepare the nation to deal with the COVID disaster. With a year to go until the general election in Kenya, Deputy President William Ruto has continued his campaign for the presidential race, claiming the government has been using its departments to undermine leaders who support him. This comes after a close associate of the Deputy President, Harun Aydin, a Turkish national, was deported following allegations of funding terrorist activities.
If you want to compete with the hustler nation, please assemble a semblance of a program or a policy or an agenda so that you can compete with us. Otherwise, hiyo mnauza fear na uoga mnauza iko na shelf life. In another 2-3 months, hiyo bei ya uoga itakuwa imefika zero. Na mtazama. Sijui kama tunaelewana. Hii bei ya uoga itashuka chini baada ya muda ambaye ni mfupi. Yeah? Fear is a very perishable item and it has a very short shelf life. So I am advising you to look for an alternative agenda to sell, because the fear you are selling to the people of Kenya will dissipate very soon. Tunaelewana? Have shortchanged the people of Kenya for far too long, my friends. Yes. Now you have no choice. You have no option.
A South African court has again postponed a long-delayed corruption trial against jailed former President Jacob Zuma to September 9, following his hospitalization last week for an undisclosed medical condition. More on the report.
Zuma, whose jailing last month for 15 months on a separate concept of court matter led to a wave of looting and unrest, was expected to appear in court on Tuesday. ARM deal corruption case that led to his sacking as South Africa's deputy president in 2005. High Court Judge P.A. Kane granted the postponement but ordered Zuma's team to produce a medical report by August 20th. He also ordered the state to appoint a medical doctor of its choice to assess whether Zuma was fit to stand trial and give evidence.
And that's it for the international news. Business comes next after the break.
Tune in to Business Edition and meet business leaders and experts who keep you informed on business and economic developments taking place in the country, such as tourism, construction, energy, transport, mining, agriculture, communication, banking, real estate, and more. Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m. only on Capital Television.
Welcome back, and now in business news. Tanzania Revenue Authority TRA in Tanga region has exceeded its revenue collection during the year 2020-2021 after collecting 154.5 billion shillings, equivalent to 110%.
Na upande wa forodha tulifanikiwa kukusanya bilioni 83.
On the customs side, we managed to collect 83 billion, equivalent to 120% efficiency. Originally, we managed to collect 154 billion, equivalent to 110% efficiency. This pipe is coming. Last month, there was a meeting related to the manufacture of the pipe, and none of you attended. They have held sessions. They have talked about Tanga opportunities. There are people sitting around talking about Tanga opportunities, but you are here sitting like you have been injected with anesthesia. I get calls from foreign companies that they are coming in to invest, but I have not even received a call from any company from Tanga. You are completely asleep.
Construction company, everybody's getting up.
The Deputy Minister of Finance and Planning, Engineer Hamadi Masauni, has directed Asset Management and Investor Services, UTT AMIS, to review some of its laws and to ensure more people of low incomes are able to access their services. He gave the directive at the opening of the company's branch in Zanzibar. When you're successful, you bring the best interest to the country and to the citizens. One of the great success is how they can provide dividends. In the past financial year, they have been able to give more than. My belief is that as the years go, they will increase government benefits and create employment. Someone comes in with 20 or 30,000 and then we invest in the money markets. As the Deputy Minister directed, we will establish a fund called Law Compliant. This fund has begun to work in the past days, and now we will finish it so that people can start using it. The Budget Standing Committee has visited flower farms in Arumeru District, ARUSHA region, which were closed due to various reasons, and pledged to present recommendations on how to revive the farms so that they can create employment and increase the country's revenues. The committee has seen the real situation, with some farms being cultivated and others remaining as forests. As a committee, we will sit down and review the realities. We will go through those fields, discuss and send proposals to the government. When an investor comes to the country, he wants to know what he will pay the government in 10 years. Not that they don't want to pay taxes, but he wants to know if he is investing in Tanzania within 5 years, what is he exactly paying? And this is why Tanzania, we are far behind in investment. While to our fellows, the investment graphs go above, for us, they are declining because the environment is not stable. And that's it for the business news. Sports comes next after the break.
Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment of going away. Kane trying to go with him, and he's being dragged through the second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment of going away. Kane trying to go with him, and he's being dragged through the second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Opposition, Joaquinho, he did lose to Lengai.
Welcome back, and now in sports news. Tanzania Mainland and TFF Cup champions SIMBA Sports Club will head to Morocco for their pre-season camp. Here's more.
The Mainland Premier League is scheduled to be kicked off with a Community Shield game between SIMBA and YANGA on 25th of September at the Benjamin Mkapa Stadium in Dar es Salaam. Both Carriacou Giants have decided to set their pre-season camps in Morocco, with entrance to the country compared to other countries being one of the main reasons.
YANGA Sports Club have signed Khalid Aucho from Misri Al Makassa of Egypt in an undisclosed fee. Here's more.
YANGA are proceeding with their hunt for the Premier League title after failing to do so in the past 4 seasons, and they are now expanding their squad. Khalid Aucho, who plays as a defensive midfielder for the Uganda national team, the Cranes, as well, says his agent was contacted by SIMBA, but he decided to join YANGA. The Jangwani-based Giants have also parted ways with goalkeepers Metacha Mnata and Farouk Shikalo.
Lionel Messi has agreed a 2-year deal with PSG to join the French club following his shock exit from Barcelona. Here's more.
34-year-old Argentina captain left Barca, the only club he ever played for, as they were unable to afford a new deal under La Liga's financial fair play rules. Mauricio Pochettino's PSG finished second to Lille in Ligue 1 last season. Considered one of the greatest players of all time, Messi scored a record 672 goals in 778 games for Barca, the club he joined as a 13-year-old. He won the Ballon d'Or a record 6 times and lifted 35 trophies with the Catalan club. The signing of Messi, who will be reunited with former Barca teammate Neymar at the Parc des Princes, is one of the most noteworthy captures in football's history.
Tottenham boss Nuno Santo claims that Harry Kane will be available to face Manchester City in the club's Premier League opener. Here are more details.
Kane, of course, reportedly wants to leave Spurs and has been heavily linked with the move to Sunday's opponents, with Pep Guardiola himself admitting that City are interested in the striker. Nuno, meanwhile, has given fans in North London a glimmer of hope, stating that he hopes to solve the situation. Kane's alleged snubbing of Tottenham's pre-season was recently rubbished by the man himself, insisting that his return on Saturday, which was later than other Spurs players, was planned.
Andy Robertson will miss the start of Liverpool's Premier League season after a scan revealed ankle ligament damage. Here are more details.
The 27-year-old Scotland left-back was helped off during Liverpool's 1-1 friendly draw with Athletic Bilbao on Sunday after going over on his right ankle shortly before half-time. Robertson left hospital on crutches and in a protective boot on Monday. Liverpool have yet to confirm the extent of the damage and recovery time. Brazil striker Roberto Firmino scored twice after Takumi Minamino's deflected opener as the Reds beat Osasuna 3-1 in a friendly on Monday night.
That sports item ends our news bulletin for tonight. Thank you for watching and good night.
Live on our social media accounts, YouTube Capital TV and Facebook Capital Television Tanzania from Monday to Friday at 9:30 p.m. Don't forget to subscribe and put notification on.
Ule msimu wa 88 ndio huu. Vituo vyako bora vya ITV, Radio 1, Capital Radio na Capital Television tunakuletea ofa kabambe. Pata fursa ya kutangaza nasi kwa bei ya punguzo kabisa. Nunua matangazo manne ya sekunde 30 kwa upande wa television kwa shilingi $500 na kwa upande wa radio matangazo madogo madogo, yani casual advert manne kwa shilingi $100. Ofa hii ya msimu wa 88 pia inahusisha vipindi vya dakika 5 na 10 kwenye TV na Brand Talk kwenye radio. Kwa maelezo zaidi, wasiliana na idara ya masoko kwa simu namba 0658777144 au 0676777147. Changamkia ofa hii, kwani mwisho wake ni tarehe 15 mwezi wa 8 2021. Vigezo na masharti kuzingatiwa.